Holy crap. So, today's the day. It's the 27th, right? Yeah, 27th. Wednesday. You know what that means? It's comic book day. Where's the camera this one? It's comic book day. Doomsday Clock 2. So, good news, bad news, great news. Bad news, it looks like the lenticular covers were just for the first issue. That's the Rorschach one that I got somewhere. I don't know where it's at right now, but yeah, it looks like the lenticular cover was just for the first one. It doesn't look like there's going to be any more, but it looks like there's going to be at least two to three variant covers for each book. I got the variant one for this week, the Lex Luthor one with Ozymandias' hand on his shoulder. The other one is the same as well, the other one. It's this picture of Marionette's costume, just like into more detail. I'm gonna get that one. I was gonna pick it up today, but I already spent like $35 on comics, and I was like, I'll get it next week. But sure, I just got it today. But anyway, so I was a little disappointed about that, to find out that there was no more lenticular covers. But these are still great. Gary Frank's art is really good. So I'm gonna try to keep this one shorter than the last one, but it's good. I know I don't look like I'm super interested, just because I'm still trying to process. I just got done reading this like the second time, and I'm just trying to like process everything still. But it's good. The story's moving along pretty good now. There's a lot more like what the fuck, but at the same time, like it's moving it along. It's going good. It's getting really good. They did announce that there will be a delay. I don't remember when it is. I think it's after the 4th issue. Or it is the 4th issue. I don't remember. Jeff Johns tweeted out that there was going to be a delay, but it's not for a while. I think he said like 2 more issues will come out, and then there'll be a delay between the 4th and the 5th, or maybe it was the 3rd and the 4th. I don't remember. I want to say it was the 4th and the 5th though, but he said there was going to be a delay. But he said the reason for the delay was because they want to make sure they can keep the story as long as possible. Not like they're not going to extend it. It's 12 issues. They're not going to extend it to more issues. He's just trying to make sure that every time you buy the book, there's a bulk of story. Like this actually kind of feels a little thin, but it still was, I think, like 30 pages, 28, and there's no ads, so that's really good. But he said he's trying to make sure the story stays thick for you every time, because you know we like them thick. But minor interruption. God. Okay, so real quick to get out the non-spoilers. It's still pretty good. I don't remember what I gave the last one. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 9 or a 10 out of 10. This one again, it's a good 10 out of 10. Basically, what happens is the search for Dr. Manhattan goes on. Ozymandias and Rorschach and Marionette and what is his name? Mime? I don't remember. The Mime. But they go on and they get ready for the search for Manhattan, and Marionette and Mime's purposes are revealed. As maybe a minor spoiler. It's in the first. Anything that's in like the first 5 or 6 pages, I'm going to consider not spoiler because it's like right at the beginning. But basically, Ozymandias talks about how Marionette and the Mime are like remnants of John's past, because it's like showing like their origin. And basically, they went to go rob a bank, and it was a bank near Rockefeller Base, where Dr. Manhattan was stationed for like the beginning part of his career, because they were like studying him. And he as they're getting ready to open the safe, Dr. Manhattan appears and like stops them, and he goes to kill Mime, but then Marionette walks in front of him and says, no, if you're gonna kill him, you have to kill me too. Dr. Manhattan's about to do it, but then like he hears, like it's in his mind, and he hears a heartbeat, and then it zooms in on Marionette's stomach to like reveal that she's pregnant, because remember in the last issue Ozymandias said that he knew the location of their son. But so Dr. Manhattan goes to like blow them both up, and then he hears the heartbeat, and then he stops, and then it doesn't say anything, but I think that this is after Vietnam, because if you remember in Watchmen, when they're at Vietnam, Comedian and Dr. Manhattan are in the bar, and then Comedian gets in a fight with this one girl who's pregnant, and then he turns around and shoots and kills her. And Dr. Manhattan's like, she was pregnant and you gunned her down. And the Comedian gives him that whole speech like, yeah, I gunned her down. You watched me. You could have saved her. You could have stopped. You could have turned the gun into snowflakes, the glass into mercury. I don't remember. He said some shit like, I think I did it backwards. But, he basically said you could have stopped me. But you didn't. You just stood there and watched me kill them. So I think that's why Dr. Manhattan didn't do it. Because I think I don't know if that's really, it doesn't talk about it, but I think that's why he didn't kill him, because he remembered like what happened in Vietnam, and he's like, I don't want to be the monster that Comedian was, so he doesn't kill him. But yeah, so Ozymandias basically says that at that moment, like, John saw humanity again, like he loved humanity, like he could have killed him, like Ozymandias, or even I think it was Rorschach. Rorschach says that Manhattan's killed people for less. Like he just killed somebody for like robbing a convenience store, like blows him up. But Rorschach's like, he's done it for less. Like, why would he stop there? And then Ozymandias talks about how he kind of knows John like intimately because he had to study him so vastly to like trick him in the end of Watchmen. So he basically is using marionette and mime as triggers for Dr. Manhattan. So yeah, the search for Dr. Manhattan continues. We get to see what's going on more in the DC side of things, or like Superman, Batman, like what's going on with them. It's kind of interesting. I'm gonna talk about that in the spoilers in a second, but search for Dr. Manhattan continues, and the stories are starting to collide. So definitely pick up Doomsday Clock. There is a reprint now out of issue 1. I think it's still $4.99. There's a second printing of issue 1 is also out now. So if you missed it out on last month and you can't find a copy, there should be new copies now too, and you can pick up issue 2. And then issue 3 is still scheduled to release next month. So okay, spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Boom, spoiler time. Alright, so they get to the DC universe, right? So Ozymandias is like, talks about how Dr. Manhattan glows blue because it's like something to do with the electrons in his body or some shit, like they leave like a trail or some shit like that. And basically he's been studying the pattern, because again, this is like 7 years after the Watchmen has been over, and he's been studying the patterns. He's like, I think I can follow them now to the different, he knows that Dr. Manhattan's not in their universe anymore. He knows that he's in a different universe. So he like rigs up the owl ship Archie to travel, to follow the particles and like travel through space-time continuum or whatever the fuck to find Dr. Manhattan. And it brings them to the DC universe. So him, Rorschach, Marionette, and Mime, and then the little Bobosis like pet cat now that he has, they all get in the owl ship. And then as they're leaving, the missile, because Russia in the last issue were like, they were getting ready to fire nukes, and Rorschach had to keep checking his clock, his watch, to make sure that they were able to leave on time before the nukes came. So they launched the missile, and from all we know now, the New York City from the Watchmen universe is gone. It's blown up. So Ozymandias kind of lied to Marionette and Mime about knowing where their child is. He's probably going to say some smart ass shit like they're dead. But yeah, so they come to the DC universe, and it's interesting. It kind of mirrors the first issue about how everybody was protesting Ozymandias. For some reason, people are protesting Batman. You can see right there. And then Batman's doing a little Rorschach. That's kind of funny. But yeah, they're like protesting the Bat. I don't know why. Because as far as I know, I haven't been reading DC comics or Detective Comics, so I don't know if there's something going on over there. But I don't think so, because I think that's mostly just about like the return of Tim Drake and all that. But in like the normal Batman stuff, it's just been about his marriage to Catwoman, and there's nothing saying about like how Batman's like an enemy of the state now. They talked about like a metagene too. I guess Dark Knights, Batman's kind of like an enemy, or the Dark Knight Metal thing. I haven't read that 4th issue yet today either, but I need to get back on that. But yeah, I'm not sure what the deal with Batman being protested is, but it's kind of interesting because it's mirroring like the Vite thing. Like Lucius is telling him, like, the world is afraid of Batman, and Batman doesn't stand for what he used to anymore. And Vight's whole thing about, like, peace doesn't mean what it used to be anymore. Like, it's never lasting. It's kind of interesting. Like, there's parallels between, like, what Veidt, because, like, even Bruce is saying, like, the world needs Batman. Like, it just doesn't think it does. It's kind of interesting. But yeah. So they arrive in Gotham. I love this too. Just normal Watchmen. They arrive in Gotham, and Ozymandias and Rorschach are walking down the streets of Gotham, and it's cool because, like, some of the panels mirror, like this one in particular, kind of like, I don't know if that shows up really well, but it's kind of just reminded of a panel from Watchmen when Rorschach's walking down the streets of New York talking about how the world is full of idiocracy, and people are talking about compromise, and you can never compromise in the face of Armageddon, but they end up locking up Marionette and Mime because they're like, yeah, you guys are villains. Like, we can't have you fucking walking around, like, especially in this city, this universe that we're not familiar with, And they get to the library, and this is where shit gets crazy, because if you've seen the Watchmen movie, there's this theory that, like, in the opening credits, maybe it's just like an Easter egg, but, it's this theory that, or I think there was something else too in the comic, I don't remember. It's in, like, the Under the Hood thing, but there's this theory that Night Owl, the original Night Owl, Hollis Mason, stopped the murder of the Waynes from happening. Like, the Waynes existed in the Watchmen universe. Like, Joe Chill, like, tried to kill the Waynes, and Night Owl stops that from happening. Because there's this scene at the beginning of the Watchmen movie where it's doing, like, the opening credits with the Time is Changing song, where Night Owl's, like, punching this dude who's got, like, a gun, and you can see, like, the two, the parents and, like, the child, like, kind of like, oh, man. And there's like a Batman comic in the background, too. So, I mean, like, it's supposed to, like, look like, like, he's setting up this, like, little Easter egg for, like, that's supposed to be the Wayne, and the Night Owl, like, saved him. But I believe there's something in the book, too, that, like, he references, like, saving them or something. But, yeah, but, like, and they also mentioned, like, Superman and stuff, too, like the idea of Superman and, like, comics and stuff, all that, comic book superheroes. But, when Night Owl and Rorschach, when Ozymandias and Rorschach are like, we need to figure out, like, what's going on in this universe, see how different it is from ours, they go to a library, and they're looking up stuff, and Ozymandias is like, oh, I found the two smartest men in the world, and it's Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor. But what's interesting is he talks about, he says, this is Ozymandias, he says, although there are vast differences between our Earths, the greatest divergence is the sheer number of men and women wearing masks, including some who are entirely fictional on our world. And then Rorschach goes on to say, fictional on our world, maybe Manhattan created them. So there's this theory now that's, I think, is really interesting. I don't remember if I should have watched my first video before I made this, but, like, remember Dr. Manhattan says, like, Ozymandias is like, thought you found your, like, love for humanity again. He's like, oh yeah, I did. Like, maybe I'll create some one day. Who knows? So, like, maybe ever since the Rebirth thing, I've been like, oh, Dr. Manhattan # created DC Universe. So it's been, like, a joke between me and my friends. But, like, it looks like it's plausible that Dr. Manhattan literally fucking created the DC Universe. Like, he left their universe, went to a whole new, and was like, boom, they're superheroes, supervillains, all that jazz. To see, like, if good would always, like, overcome evil and, like, yada yada yada, and see, like, maybe if there were more superheroes on their Earth, if, like, peace would have survived or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so Rorschach says maybe he created them, and Ozymandias says, or he could be one of them, which goes back to the Superman thing. Some people think that Dr. Manhattan is, like, hiding as Superman now, and then Rorschach's like, change name, change look. Ozymandias says, it's possible, yes, John may have wanted to start over with a new identity, a second chance. And Rorschach says, second chance at what? And Ozymandias says, saving the world. Those wearing costumes, most of them are superhuman. The Dr. Manhattan problem, 100-fold. So, like, yeah. So it's interesting, but I'm still on the thing that Dr. Manhattan has created everything, and he's, like, trying to view the world from Superman's point of view, because, you know, the whole thing about Superman is he's the most powerful being in the DC universe. So Dr. Manhattan, I think, is just using Superman to, like, look through his eyes and see, like, how could the most powerful man in the world, in the whole universe, just love humanity. I think that's what the whole story is overall going to be about. I don't think really Superman and Dr. Manhattan are ever going to really fight. I don't know. Because, you know, there's that whole thing where there's, so, like, Dr. Manhattan just, like, snaps his fingers, Superman will fucking die. But we don't know. We don't know yet. But, the most interesting thing is Ozymandias and Rorschach split up, and they're like, okay, you go investigate Bruce Wayne, I'll go investigate Lex Luthor. And, you know, they're like, we'll just tell him what we're here, you know, what happened in our world, and we're just trying to find help. We're just trying to find John. Once we get John, we'll leave. You know, that's all we want. We don't want anything else. You know, we're not here to cause any trouble. We just want to get John. We're going to get the fuck out of here. That's it. So Rorschach's like, all right, whatever. So Ozymandias goes to meet Lex, and, like, it doesn't really go over well because, you know, Lex is a cocky piece of shit that, like, Veidt used to be. So Veidt, like, that's why Veidt went to go see him, because he sees himself a lot. What he tells Luthor to is he's looking at a painting. He's like, oh, I admire your taste and admiration. It reminds me of myself. But you know, he tells Luthor everything, and Luthor turns around and looks at him, and he's like, if you're the smartest man on your world, I'd like to meet the dumbest. Because he, like, he tells him back his whole plan, and, like, when you kind of think about it, like, his plan does kind of sound stupid. You know, like, what he did, like, you were going to fake an alien invasion, and you really thought that was going to bring peace, like, forever. You know, like, really? But, and then Rorschach's looking through the Batcave and seeing all, like, the trophies that Batman has, and, like, you know, the giant penny, the T-Rex, the costumes, the leftover Joker stuff, and he's just like, this guy must be like he's a monster, like only monsters would keep trophies like these. And it says that he can't let go of the past and all that. And then there's two, it kind of like mirrors these things, so Rorschach and Ozymandias are kind of going through the same thing. So at the end, somebody tries to shoot Ozymandias, and Ozymandias is able to jump out of the way. And the guy says, last time you caught me, I was confused and drunk. And then Ozymandias looks at him, he's like, impossible. And then the guy goes on to say, this time I'm ready for you. And I'm not going to show it right now, show it in a second. But then Rorschach actually beats Batman. Because Rorschach turns around, and Ozymandias had told him, like, don't interact with anybody else, don't touch anything, you know, just find Bruce Wayne, talk to him, like, that's it. But when he goes to the Wayne Manor, he, like, finds that Alfred left him some breakfast, and he, like, fucking eats it. And then it's funny because he eats it, and then when the stuff falls on the ground, that's how he ends up finding. Oh, I didn't even look at the old stuff today. Not the old stuff, but anyway, the news articles at the end, I forgot to read over those actually because they just look like an ad for some reason. But anyway, try to wrap this up real quick. It's turning out a long ass video. Batman's like, you ate my breakfast, and Rorschach looks at him, he's like, yeah, I did. But the way that he finds the Batcave is when he's eating the breakfast, the wrap that Alfred had left, like, falls on the ground, and it kind of, like, starts blowing because of the wind from the Batcave. And then Rorschach looks at the clock, and he, like, lights a match, and then the match, like, goes out, like, really fast because of the wind or whatever. So then that's how and then he moves the clock and goes down. That's how he finds it. And then he trips an alarm. He doesn't notice it. He trips an alarm, and then Batman ends up showing up. But, okay, so this is a really big spoiler alert. So if you don't, I mean, this is all a spoiler, but I mean, like, this is really big. So I'm going to give you another warning. So overall, story was really good again, 10 out of 10. It's moving along pretty well. No, it's not dragging along. I was glued every second. I'm interested to see what this whole metahuman thing is that's going on. Like, I'm kind of thinking that maybe, I don't know, I was going to say that maybe they're not on the real DC universe. Like, maybe this is like a whole nother Elseworld stories that's happening on a different DC universe, but I don't know, because, I mean, there's been all this shit, like, littered throughout, you know, like, mainstream stuff, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird, like, the whole Batman thing, like, everybody's, like, against Batman now, like, there hasn't been anything in the comics leading up to that. It would have been cool if there was. And then it's like, you're reading all this, like, anti-Batman stuff. You're like, what the hell are you going to do with this? And then, then boom, it's in Doomsday Clock. Like, oh, that would have been cool. But I don't know what they're doing with it right now. But anyway, So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goddamn, some long ass video. Fucking comedian. The fucking comedian shoots Ozymandias. He's in Lex Luthor's office. The fucking comedian. He's like, this time I'm ready for you. Because they fought. They fought 3 times. Or twice. They fought. And the first time when Ozymandias was investigating Hooded Justice. And they fought. But comedian was drunk. And, you know, he kind of beat him. You know, it was kind of like a standstill. But he kind of beat him. And then, but Ozymandias is like, oh, I let you beat me, yada yada. But, and then comedian's like, well, I wasn't really ready. I was drunk. I wasn't prepared, yada yada. But, and then the second time they fought, obviously, Ozymandias fucking killed him because he threw him out the damn window. But anyway, so, I don't think this is actually a comedian, though. I think, because, remember, Ozymandias has cancer, like, as a tumor. I think this is probably just going to be Deathstroke. Like, Deathstroke's, like, working for Lex as, like, a bodyguard or something. I don't know. And then, like, next issue, they'll reveal that, like, the tumor's, like, fucking with Ozymandias' head, and he's just, like, imagining that it's comedian. I don't think it's him. I think, like I said, I just think it's, like, Deathstroke, probably. And he's just, like, imagining that, or it's just some bodyguard. Maybe it's just some security guard, but he's just imagining it to be comedian. I don't really think it's him. Because why the fuck would comedian be on this earth, you know? Like, doesn't really make sense. But if Dr. Manhattan created this universe, I mean, maybe. Who knows? I don't fucking know. But yeah, so 10 out of 10, definitely go check it out. This is the stock, or not stock, sorry. This is the cover, this is the variant issue. They had plenty of these on my location. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you guys live, but they had a lot of them, so. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry, this was a long video. Like I said, I kind of did a spur of the moment. I didn't really get to think about it too much. I was like, fuck, I gotta get this out there. So, alright guys, thank you. I will see you next month for Doomsday Clock Part 3.